Yo, what's going on YouTube? This is the Dfs Riddler coming back at you live with another MLB video. And it is Tuesday, July the 2nd. We got a 15 game slate today, guys, which means all teams of baseball are they're all playing. So, a lot of different ways we can go with this. But before we get into it, just take a moment to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of my future MLB content that I'll be putting out this season. Speaking of subscribing, guys, I'm almost there. Help me get to my 100 subscriber goal. Once I get to 100 subscribers, I'll be doing a $20 cash giveaway. Just a little token of my appreciation to you guys for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Really appreciate it. Also, you don't want to miss out on my picks. They've been absolutely on fire lately. One of the reasons that they have been on fire lately is this app right here, Draft Dashboard. If you're not familiar with it, you are missing out, guys. Draft Dashboard has a ton of tools on here that'll help you get the right players that you need to take down that GPP that you guys all want to take down. We'll start off by going over the MLB cheat sheet. This cheat sheet right here gives you a list of all the players for the day that have a really high probability of making value, guys. So if you haven't had the time to do research, this cheat sheet is where you reference what players that you want to roster for the day. It has your locks, your top pitchers, your stud bats, your mid-range bats, your value bats, and the best part about the MLB cheat sheet is the home run hitters list, guys. This list right here gives you a list of all the players that have a high upside of getting you a home run for the day. When you are trying to take down a GPP, you will need a lot of home runs, guys, to get that really high score. Just a fact of the matter. So this list right here is a great place to start to find out who the guys are that are going to get you those home runs. Next up, I'll go over the position optimizer. This tool is really good, guys. Breaks down all the players on the slate by position. Gives you a draft dashboard ranking indicating how well they're expected to perform that day. You've got individual player statistics. It'll tell you how they performed in their last 5 games in general, as well as how well they performed against the opposing team in their last 5 games. You've got projected ownership. It gives you individual player statistics, like I said, like ERA and OPS allowed, the projected points for the player for the day. So a lot of really helpful information when you're trying to decide which players you're going to play. When you do decide what players you like, you can add them all to your player pool. And then once you do, you head on over to the lineup optimizer, guys, which is what I'll go over next. It'll take all the players that you compiled in that player pool, and it will create a really nice lineup for you guys based on that player pool. Once you do have an option to upgrade each player as need be to a higher draft dashboard ranking, or to just correlate your stacks a little bit better. This tool also has a mass lineup generator that will let you generate anywhere from 10 to 100 lineups. Really helpful tool if you do like to do the 20 entry max contests. But yeah, guys, the draft dashboard lineup optimizer has won me a lot of money in the past, and it can do the same for you. Last thing that I want to go over before we close out draft dashboard is the sleepers and studs option on here. Now, when you are trying to roster a lot of expensive hitters in your lineup that cost $5,000 to $6,000, you're going to have to include some value in there to be able to afford those guys. This list right here gives you a list of all the players that have a high upside of making value at a $4,000 or less price tag, which is very important, guys, because when we do roster these low price tag guys, these low price tag hitters, we want value. We don't want zeros. So this list right here is a really, really important tool. But yeah, guys, that is Draft Dashboard in a nutshell. Like I said, if you are new to it or if you don't have it, you're missing out. You need to get Draft Dashboard. And if you do want to try it, pretty much costs you nothing to try it out. It's only $1 for 30 days, guys. Everybody has $1 to spare if you're already playing fantasy sports. Why not invest it in Draft Dashboard? It will make your lineups that much better, guys. If you do want to try it, just click the link that's in the description of my YouTube video. It'll take you to where you need to go to give Draft Dashboard a try. All right, so for the players that I like today, we'll jump right into it. For my SP1, I like Patrick Corbin. He is priced up, guys. He's 11,100, but he gets a great matchup against the Miami Marlins. Nothing really much needs to be said about the Miami Marlins. We all know that they're garbage. They don't have a good offense. He's had some really good games in his last 2 games against the Marlins. He put up a 33 and a 36. So he's got that upside there, guys. He will get you there. He can get you 2.5 to 3 times fantasy, or 2.5 to 3 times value at that price tag. One other thing that's appealing to me is his ownership. He is projected to only be 8% owned today, which in comparison to some of the higher owned pitchers, I'll take the 8% against the Marlins any day. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of other pitchers that are getting like 25 to 30% ownership on today's slate. So I'll take a low owned Patrick Corbin any day of the week. Yeah, sign me up. But since we are paying up for Patrick Corbin at our SP1, for SP2, I am going to go with a little bit of a chalky play. Ronaldo Lopez is $5,600 today, guys. Just absolutely too cheap. Going up against the Detroit Tigers. We all know that that's a great matchup pretty much for any pitcher because they strike out a fucking ton. Ronaldo Lopez is projected at 29% ownership. So, I mean, it is a standout play. A lot of people are going to be playing this against the Tigers. But, I mean, it's kind of hard to get away from that $5,600 price tag. You're allowing yourself a lot of upside with your bats. And on a 15-game slate, you can find a way to be different with your bats. Kind of got to bite the chalk on that one. Plus, if we're taking a low on Patrick Corbin, we can eat a little bit of chalk on the SP2. All right, so for the bats that I like for today, we do have a Coors Field game going on, which is going to attract a lot of ownership. But the pitchers pitching in it are actually pretty good. You got Herman Marquez pitching for the Rockies. He is a good pitcher. I'm not saying that he won't give up runs. He might give up 4 or 5 runs, but it's not. I don't see this game in Coors Field as a huge slate buster as like a lot of them are. The Houston Astros are a great team, but like I said, Herman Marquez is not a gas can. Also, the Houston Astros are bringing up a pitcher that is boasting a 28% strikeout rate. Rockies do strike out a ton. I will have some exposure to this. It's just kind of, the ownership does scare me away if they're going to be one of the highest owned stacks on the slate on a 15-game slate. I mean, there's so many other ways that you can go different other than the Rockies or the Houston Astros. Like I said, I will have exposure, but probably nowhere near what the field is playing on them. So I'll talk about a couple of ways to be different from the Coors Field game. We'll start off with Jose. Well, we'll start off with one of the players that is really hard to get away from. We will go to this game. Houston Astros, Jose Altuve. He's only $4,200. I will show you how chalky he's going to be. He's projected to be 26% owned, which that is massive for a bat on a 15-game slate. But he is not very appropriately priced. We're talking about an all-star hitter. He has a 316 average and a 837 OPS overall. I mean, this is a great hitter in Coors Field, and you're getting him for $4,200. Probably batting somewhere near the top of the lineup. So very inappropriately priced for what his upside is. But I just had to highlight that just because that is really hard to get away from, even if it is chalky. $4,200 for Jose Altuve in Coors Field. Yeah, like I said, extremely way underpriced. But next up after that, we'll go with Cody Bellinger. I really like the Los Angeles Dodgers today. They're expected to be like middle owned, somewhere middle owned in the pack. And they get the lefties and the Dodgers. They get a great matchup against Taylor Clark. He is a pretty much a he is a gas can up against left-handed batters. He gives up 1,038 OPS. So the lefty power hitters in the Dodgers lineup really interests me. Cody Bellinger being one. His price tag is $5,700, so I think appropriate for Cody Bellinger. But as you see, his ownership is only projected to be 3%. So absolutely sign me up for some Cody Bellinger at that low ownership all day long. Definitely a great pivot from that high ownership that the chalk is going to be riding with the Coors Field game. Next up, I'll give you guys a little value here. Ji-Man Choi. He has a 100 draft dashboard ranking for the Tampa Bay Rays going up against Baltimore. He's only $3,600, guys. That is too cheap for Ji-Man Choi. Projected with a 7% ownership. Got a 14 in his last game. Gets a great matchup against a pitcher that I know nothing about really, and I cannot pronounce that name, so I'm not even going to try. But this pitcher does give up 1,055 OPS versus lefties, and we all know that Ji-Man Choi mashes righties with a 982 OPS. So really hard matchup to avoid at $3,600. Nice ownership tag. Sign me up for Ji-Man Choi for some value. Next up, I like Francisco Lindor for the Cleveland Indians. Going up against Kansas City, he is only $4,600 today. In my opinion, too cheap for Lindor. According to the field, at 17% ownership, a little bit too cheap for everybody as well. So he will be a little bit high owned for a hitter, but just in a great spot, batting in leadoff for $4,600 for the Cleveland Indians. He has a 10 for 20 history versus Junis. 4 singles, 3 doubles, and 3 home runs. And Junis does give up an 822 OPS versus switch batters. By far his worst. Well, pretty much even with lefties. Lindor has an 844 OPS versus righties. So this is just a great matchup, guys. Hard to ignore that one. 4,600, too cheap for Lindor. And last but not least, I'll give you guys another value play to end the video. Jose Peraza for the Cincinnati Reds. He is only $3,200, guys. This is one of my favorite value plays of the day. He is 4 for 12 against Chase Anderson with 1 single, 1 double, 1 triple, and 1 home run. So he's got a little bit of everything. Price down because he's probably been a little bit cold lately. 0, 6, 2, 3, and a 0. But the upside is there, guys. He does have a 288 batting average for the year with a 742 OPS. Lefty-righty advantage of plus 20%. I really like this matchup and the price tag on Jose Peraza. Like I said, he is one of my favorite value plays of the day. The Reds are in a good spot today against Chase Anderson, who is not that great of a pitcher. But yeah, guys, that's it for my picks for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It's going to be a really, really interesting 15-game slate. Hopefully everybody listening can take it down and get that money bag. So I'll leave you guys with that. I'll be back with another video for tomorrow's MLB slate. As always, make lots of money, and DFS Riddler is out.